there really isn't any real way of knowing who's friend and foe in this world. It seems to be quite fickle depending on whether or not they actually tell you the motivation. But of course, properly upstanding members of society don't really go around stealing skin. At least not the last time I checked. Things have really got wild since the lockdown. And Toma getting in Misaka's good books once again by, well, protecting her, but also telling the assailant that he's going to continue. Or at least I assume it was something to that extent. There are many characters in this, and apart from a certain blue hair, I want to know more about most of them. So let's dig ourselves in, get a drink, and begin. No day is complete without Index chowing down on his hair and arms, face. And we were told that the other Misaka clones were, they've spread out, haven't they? Hopefully taking care of themselves. How long is it going to be before we see that one? Obviously, I'm not going to remember the designation of the one that he was talking to, but how long is it going to be before we see her again? And is there any going to be more characters with convoluted backstories? And like some of these characters that we see right here, really comprising of the different elements of the show. Magic, science, religion. And the master of just bullshit luck. Huh. Black, zero sugar coffee. Quite a lot of it. Either Accelerator really needs his caffeine, or he's just stocking up for a while. Either he didn't know who Accelerator was, or he didn't really have a plan. So they want to prove themselves. Like, oh, if someone else can beat him. And reflect. He is reduced to a quantum state. Is this where we see Accelerator in a bit more of a sympathetic light? Instead of some sort of megalomaniac... I couldn't say that word. A megalomaniac. He seems to have picked up a straggler. I knew this place was full of stray cats and whatnot, but there should be a limit. Ah. Because he silenced the world off from himself. Well, if you listen, you might be able to know. Or he actually just couldn't hear you. Oh, I'm sorry. What? Also, why are you wearing a blanket outside? Yeah, the experiment's not... That's not what you asked. The experiment's not running right now, hopefully, so... Really? Have you no shame? I know he's a murdering arsehole, but... So it reached the 20,000s. So, what, she was meant to be his final combatant in the experiment? Ah, so she's half-formed. Compact body. Is he on speaking terms like that with the scientists and those that were running the gig? Although listening to her says Misaka, all that stuff, it might get grating. Who would have thought that Accelerator would have just a normal little apartment? Funny. But also, I would... You fell for it again, didn't you? Why does no one lock their doors? He could have tidied up the place. It's almost as if he wasn't expecting guests. Do you... Now, even if you think, like, he got taken down from the top spot, do you really want to risk it by fucking off a really strong person? Especially in a world like this. Stick around until she finds a way to contact the scientists. That's her plan. Is this redemption arc for Accelerator for all of his past crimes? See if he can be redeemed as a person. I think you should be fine. Sleeping on a sofa isn't really comfortable. Does it? I wouldn't have been able to tell the accent. I don't know Japanese that well. I don't know it well. Yes, Accelerator is known for his chef skills. maybe? Where did she get those kind of anticipations? It was turned white due to a lot of stress. That's actually a relatively acceptable answer, I guess. So he doesn't have some sort of albinoism. And he knows he's been noticed. Her priority really does change on the moment. Yeah, no, that's not conspicuous at all. Let's hope this world doesn't have speed cameras. But considering a lot of things are automated... My hair's in my mouth. If I didn't know that she had been grown in a vat and only been released recently, that would be quite a sad statement. Then say it. No one's stopping you. She was a bit too excited about saying that, though. Well, it's restaurant food. It's going to be edible. So, a restaurant that just sells frozen food. Sounds like Wetherspoons. And if anyone from Wetherspoons is watching, please don't sue me. So it's more like he caused them temporary harm because they're, in effect, hive mind rather than individuals. A good policy. That's a strange way of going about it, but okay. So what? It's been an act. Is Accelerator a delicate little flower? I think anyone that has had to force going through the experiments, like what we've been told has been the case with Accelerator and the Misaka clones, then they kind of would shut off that humanity of them. Yeah, his actions then and his actions now do seem a bit conflicted, but if it was all... him trying to handle it in his own way... Well, that would be quite boring, though, wouldn't it? So, for this, well, I guess it's the neural network of Misaka to read through everything that has happened to this extent, while also losing their lives in droves. They were not given the wherewithal to have self-preservation. Also, is no one going to, comment on why there's a small child in just a blanket that just collapsed on a table? Right, what, so you can't actually process food? Some sort of withdrawal from the tank. She's formed an immediate bond, kind of like a stray dog, but a more talkative one. She wants to experience so many normal things. Is he actually going to be able to distance himself, though? And when's the next attack by some hoodlums? And any particular reason why you need belt straps around your ankles? Other than fashion. Yo. I think sciencing would be slightly difficult with all of the paperwork just thrown about. Is he going to look into it himself? It's kind of obvious what the reason is. So it's inherent. So it's not just the developmental issues. The body itself is designed to fail. So they made one more. So is she an anomaly, or she is the link that ties them all together? And he just kind of left her in that restaurant. Brilliant. So even though they had found a way out, found a way to kind of live for themselves, there's now a basically terrorist cyber attack on to control the bodies. That guy. Well, why else would he been outside? Download Norton antivirus. Or some other free program. Of course, saying that so nonchalantly, it should pose no problem for someone like you, Accelerator. How hard did they try to look for alternatives before they fell on the killing Misaka over and over again? Potential, but I don't think he's going to blurt out the secrets all too easily. Both. So let's go for the difficult option. Yeah, it's obvious, but then at the same time, he doesn't want to be what they were trying to make him into. A mindless killer, but powerful. I think, even in a self-preservation way of acting like the bad person that, even well, he was killing them, but still, that way of trying to distance himself from really quite acknowledging what he was doing might have just spared him from being completely insane. Although I'm not sure how... I'm not sure if a complete redemption could be made for someone who has been instrumental in basically a genocide. I'm very conflicted. It will be fun to find out, though. It's kind of inevitable that in a world where people can do things that seem superhuman, that there are going to be those who have some sort of power fantasy. And with that comes the issue of, well, roving street gangs. At least it seems as though that doctor dude isn't going to be all too bored. He's got a lot of healing to do. And considering how things are going, with most of the storylines having the joyful ending, but coming with some sort of caveat, like with Index and Toma, him losing his memories, I don't think the resolution to this storyline is going to be too cheerful. But with that lump in the back of my throat, which I'm probably going to have to think about for a while, Index overall has been pretty fun. At least if you ignore the fact that we might be experiencing the rise of, well, Skynet. A horde of beings who have been, well, bred to lose their lives in battle, going on a rampage in society. We can't have one nice day, can we? But if you've enjoyed this episode, just please let me know. Leave a like on the video and a comment down below. Subscribe if you don't want to miss future uploads. Check out my Discord because, well, it's a better way to stay informed than most other things. But most importantly, get some rest, whether it be on a restaurant table or a slashed up sofa. Join me for the next one though. I need to thank my patrons because they are the guiding hand that actually feeds me, although I do get sent to the wrong room every now and again. So, Sal, Raywin, Electricant, M97, Shiwan, Jennifer Rojas, Mecha, Stinsfire, Big Boy, Dark Show, 7899 and everyone else. Thank you for looking after me in your own way. If you want to make amends for what you've done and also support me, join on to Patreon.